streaming. Good evening, everybody. It's Monday at 9:30 on the East Coast, 6:30 on the West Coast. That must mean it's time for your Calamity Jane weekly live stream. James, how's it going?
I am doing well. How are you?
Good. I start each of these with the same intro, and I'm almost feeling like we should like commission an intro song or something like that, and then we can go,
We
ladies
could
and
probably do something like that.
gentlemen, you know what time it is. Um, but I don't know, something for another day, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I think we could do something graphically speaking and maybe musically speaking.
Well, I'm definitely not utilizing OBS to its fullest potential. There's no question about that.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, we can do all kinds of frame layers and edits and things of that nature. I mean, we can even,
okay.
like, honestly, we could go live, and I could get like an intro screen that says, we're coming soon, and then just that way people know that we're coming. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much. I'm just thinking out loud,
Mhm.
um, but in any case, how you doing, James?
I'm doing well now that you've planted that seed. Now you got me thinking about it a little bit as far as
Art,
an intro.
art,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
art.
Let me take a sip of my non-sponsor
Ooh,
product of the week.
what is
I
our
have
non-sponsor of the week?
my non-sponsor of the week is this. I don't know if you can read that.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can get behind that one.
Raspberry ginger beer, Krabbies. It's called Krabbies. I
It
saw
makes
this
it makes sense.
Bevmo. So I'm sipping this tonight, non-sponsored.
I'd be crabby if I were drinking that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You don't like well, it's so I'll describe to
It
you and our ones of people that watch.
Yeah,
It tastes pretty sweet and there's a hint
yeah.
of raspberry, but it's pretty much ginger beer.
I'm not a huge fan of ginger beer.
Hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of raspberries.
Oh, yeah.
So
This has a recipe of anti-Eric all over
right,
it.
exactly. It's yeah. So, but that's all right. That's fine as long as you like it. I'm perfectly happy supporting it. So, remember how last week we were talking about? I just realized my screen wasn't maximized. People are getting a taste of my background, which is just it's a pyramid in Mexico, so it's not anything particularly exciting. But
On my side, I see Calamity Jane, so I'm not sure.
yeah. So I because I stream through OBS. OBS is just capturing whatever my windows or what my screen is showing, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't have my window maximized, so it was just still in a windowed mode. So people are seeing nothing important or exciting, but our beautiful
Gotcha.
faces weren't maximized on the screen, so I fixed that.
Gotcha.
Um, Remember how last week we were talking about how I've never really had a major problem with any of my Nintendo hardware?
Yeah, I think we were kind of we were going in a Nintendo fanboy mode a little
Yeah,
bit.
well,
Last-
it's time for reality check.
Yeah,
My Nintendo Switch is somewhere in East Syracuse right now,
yeah,
being repaired.
yeah. That's pretty sad, man.
Yeah, I think that the charging cable on my Mario Kart toy shorted out the USB-C port on my Switch, and it would no longer. I mean, I could like jostle it and kind of lean it, and get it to
Hmm.
kind of catch and get it to connect with the dock, but yeah, it broke.
Yeah,
So $120 later, it's on its way to Eastern New York State. I think isn't no Western, not Western New York State. Syracuse is in the West, right?
mm,
Um, to be repaired.
yeah. That's a huge disappointment. I'm gonna go into drawing mode while we
Yeah, let's
continue.
do it. Let's do it, and then we can dissect.
Um, all right, here we are. We're gonna just pick up where we left off last week. I'm gonna be
Nice.
drawing.
So,
Uh,
did you have any thoughts about how you want to handle some of the shape language around Molly because you're using the sort of the flat art style?
yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I kind of ended up with last week and keep going with it.
All
And
right,
so, and I don't want to spend too much time on these. Again, these two characters, since they're ancillary, they're just
sure.
kind of in the background. So I'm happy with the decision, and I'm probably keep going unless some inspiration hits me tonight while I continue working on her. But yeah, I'll keep going the way we're going.
Okay, all right.
Well, but while we're looking at it, did you have any thoughts? I mean, again, I'm always open to hearing.
I mean, I guess my question is a larger question of do shadows exist in the world of Calamity Jane from an art direction standpoint? That's my question to you.
So, um, they are gonna exist. Um, we've talked about this before, like in our past streams. I was doing lighting on Calamity Jane as a test, and so we
Yep.
did have
Yeah,
some
and there was
shadows
some
and
pretty
stuff.
fun, successful tests
Yeah,
there.
and I think you chimed in too because I was debating whether that should be a permanent thing or not, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be just, and I think it should be based on situations when we use shadows and light
Mm-hmm.
for our characters, but our backgrounds will probably have because I'm leaning towards trying to use Blender for our backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
3D, like again, what we've done a couple weeks ago, using them and having them kind of render out with some flat shading on them to kind of give them a depth. But the characters will always be pretty much flat unless there's a situation that justifies them having shadows and light on them for dramatic effect. That's where I'm leaning.
Okay, sounds good. For the sake of Molly, looking at the concept art, obviously you use um, I don't know that shadow is the right word, but you use not strictly actual physical shapes or outlines to get a little bit of definition in her shirt. Is that something that's out of the question for the final art, or is that just something you were using in the concept art?
You talking about Molly here with
Yeah,
her?
in the concept art specifically,
Oh,
not
okay.
not the in progress.
Let me go to that real quick. Let's see. Where are you? Sketches. There you are.
Yeah. So you've got a little bit of extra shape language around her chest to give a little
Yep.
definition in the shirt. Um, but is that kind of thing out of the question? Those sort of mid character lines like that? Does that
I think
betray your art style?
I think I do this. I've done this before where I will use some shape hints
Mm-hmm.
to help give hints to a character's shape.
Mm-hmm.
When they break silhouette, like for her breast and torso here, like
Right.
I am gonna add a little shape color here, and I'll do that in the today's stream.
Okay.
And to break the shoulder, I might add a little bit of a shape here to kind of break the plane here.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever their appendages actually kind of break into the flat color, and I want to separate them, then I will use monochromatic type of color, a color based on their main color to
I
help.
see. So you might like use a different shade of green or
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Okay,
So
that makes sense. That was my question.
yeah, I'll be doing that later tonight. But yes, for sure, it's a really good question. It's something I've thought about a lot, and I think we've done that before with even Calamity Jane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think here. Where is it? Let's look at Calamity Jane real quick. Let me see. It's been a while since I've had her open, so let's check her out. Yeah. So as you can see right here, see how
Yeah,
our
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I do use hint color
Mm-hmm.
when I need to on stuff. But if you notice with Calamity Jane, I mean, she's such a her silhouette. I've tried to design her silhouette to be and her poses to be strong enough to where you don't ever have to really rely on it. But if you
Right,
know here,
right,
even on the hoodie, it's a different shade of purple to help
right,
kind of pop it.
right.
So that same technique will be used on Molly tonight as well.
Okay, all right. Good to know. All right, cool.
So yes, sort of. It was been pre-built for a while in my head,
Mm-hmm.
ever since Calamity Jane was kind of pretty much designed way back when. I don't know how long ago that was now. Geez, it's been forever. It seems like.
Yeah, I know, I know. She was. I mean, over a year ago, over 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I was still living in Seattle when we made the big change to go with Calamity instead of Leon as our protagonist.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
So,
So yeah, but let's go back to your Mario
oh,
Kart discussion here. So you
yeah,
okay? So I've gone over this a couple times with you. I want to make sure I get it. But you have an so with the Mario Kart device, the actual car,
yeah,
you just take your USB cord, plug it in the back, whatever, and it charges the battery, and you take the other end of it. You either have an option to put it into an AC adapter on the wall, or use your Nintendo Switch dock to charge
yeah.
it,
It even
or
comes with a
even plug.
charger, and even on the box, on the actual box it comes with, it says just plug it right into your Switch dock. Yeah.
You don't have the box with you still, do you?
I can go grab it.
I'm really. I want to see it. I
Yeah,
actually want.
yeah. Hold on, I'll be right back. You can look at Calamity's beautiful visage.
I'll entertain here while I'm drawing.
Okay, I can't wait to see what it is. I'll watch it in playback.
But that's but I think seeing it physically, especially on a commercial product, is actually pretty funny. Because if you're gonna be the good consumer and follow the instructions, then it should behave the way that you expect it to. I mean, that's how I would think it's supposed to go. But let's see what Eric comes. Let's see if Eric still's got that box, and I want to have a good chuckle with it. All right,
I emerge back from the darkness. I'll have to turn off my virtual camera because it gets confused, or my virtual background here. So, but I got bad news. I think they've got me on a technicality. You'll see right there. But
yeah.
you know what's not in the dock?
Oh, the Switch.
Yeah. However, the text does say that if you plug your Switch into the dock and play games while the card is charging, it may take longer for the card to charge. So
yeah, that pretty much implies that you can put your Switch in. Well, sorry. Yeah.
But in any case, so in all fairness, I'm using my deductive powers to surmise this conclusion, because it wasn't like there wasn't like sparks, there wasn't any sort of decisive evidence, but the cart was charging. It was the first time I was charging it. I just opened it up. My nephew came over and he wanted to play video games because we both play Smash Brothers together. He's a huge Smash Brothers fan, thank God. And so I put the Switch into the dock, and I noticed that the cart, the light, there's a little red LED on the back of the cart. It starts blinking red and off and on and off and on and off multiple times, but not regular, not like it's a message. You know how sometimes devices will blink in a particular rhythm, and then you can check the manual and it tells you, oh, if it blinks this way, that means this way. It was really irregular, like it was on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off,
so
right?
So all intents and purposes, it looked like it appears like it was struggling.
Yeah, it was like it was trying to figure out what it wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Then eventually the light stabilized, and it continued charging, and then fine, whatever. I didn't think about it, okay? Then I didn't have the Switch in the dock for the rest of the day because I was playing Mario Kart with my niece and nephew, right? The next day, I want to go play Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and I pop the Switch in the dock, and nothing happens. I go, oh, that's weird. So I take it out and put it back in. Nothing happens. No matter how many times I get in there, nothing happens. So I go, oh, that sucks. I take it out. I bring it over because I have 2 docks. I bring it to the second one in the other room. Put it in there, same exact thing, right? If I jostled it around, right, I could get it to connect, but it not like for 3 years, since 2017 when I bought this thing, or early, actually it was like, I think it was 2017. You could just drop it right in the dock, no thought, no fuss, no muss. And now all of a sudden I'm like having to like tilt it just slightly to get the connection to work, and it's the same thing. And then I take it to my friend's house just to check, and it's same thing there on his dock as well, right? So it's the same problem. So it's definitely the Switch. It's not a dock issue. It's absolutely the Switch. And the only thing that changed between one day to the next was the fact that the cart was charging on the dock at the same time I put the Switch in there. That's literally the only thing different from one day to the next.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. I mean,
so it sucks. It sucks.
It's pretty disappointing. I mean, I am wondering how many people out there are going to go through that same thing. I know you were saying you were kind of skeptical. You thought you might be just a very unique case study in
this is my personal experience through life. The number of times where something has broken in an odd way, and I've gone to get it repaired, and someone went, "Huh, I've never seen that before." Like, I seriously, that has happened to me so many times. It can't be a coincidence. I am certain that there was some combination of things that I did that no one else will ever have done.
I don't know, man. It sounds pretty standard. What happened to you? I mean, I could see myself doing that if I happened to have Mario Kart Home Circuit myself. I would have done
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
would have wanted to charge it and fire my Switch and just play it big while it's charging, doing something else. I
yeah.
don't see that as being unrealistic.
I don't think
What
it's
happened?
unrealistic, but suffice it to say, if I had to guess, I can't imagine anybody else having experienced it.
Yeah, man,
Um, so in any case, it gets delivered to the repair shop tomorrow, and then who knows how long it's going to take them to fix it. And then who knows? Well, I know exactly how long it takes. It takes about 5 days for it to make the whole trip. So if it takes one day to fix it, then I could have it in another week. If they don't get around to fixing it for God knows how long. That's the other thing too. Nintendo is really explicit. COVID, we make no guarantees of how long it's going to take to repair because COVID, right?
yeah, they
And it
kind of
just
got that built in.
I,
Yeah,
I I mean, I want to be clear here. I don't want to undermine the seriousness of the situation that we're in, but
yeah.
I am really pissed off at how easy companies use COVID as an excuse to be even lazier than they usually are about everything.
Yeah, because there's some companies that generally are affected by it, and so then you kind of have this kind of crying wolf thing because every
Yeah,
company kind of builds into it.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, I
I
mean,
can
it's
see
just like
that.
you call customer service, right? And you always get the message that we're experiencing a higher than usual call volume, which everybody knows is total horseshit. Excuse me. And now, if you call a customer service line, it also says not only are we experiencing higher than normal call volumes, but because of COVID, we can't guarantee you anything ever again.
Yeah, yeah, I've been on that end of that before a couple times, but
So,
yeah, it is kind of just sort of piled onto whatever else is kind of happening. It seems like, yeah, for sure.
so the
So
end result is they said, yeah, we're doing repairs still. We make no guarantees of how long this is going to take because of COVID. And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, well, that means I could have it back in a week. It means I could have it back in 6 months, and nobody knows.
So what are you
So
doing now for your substitution for games? Now you going PS4?
yeah, I'm back to Monster Hunter World right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get that one done because I still haven't beaten the main game. So I still haven't gotten to the Iceborne DLC expansion, and I want to
Mhm.
knock that one out before Monster Hunter Rise comes out in March.
Yeah.
So yeah, I needed to play that one anyway. So that's what I'm doing. Are you still on Fire Emblem Awakening?
Yeah, I'm still on my 3DS. I have a Switch sitting in a bag right now. Well, sadly, I went through all this work to try to get one, and now I'm like, yeah, again, I kind of got caught up in this Fire Emblem Awakenings game, and now, yeah, that's kind of what I've been occupied with. Oddly enough, I kind of sometimes I'll get into a game and then I just kind of forget everything else exists until I'm done with it. So,
Sure.
sort of in that mode. So I don't know if anybody's actually, as I was kind of complaining to you, I mean, I was really annoyed with it at a certain point because I'm in a point of story. Just to avoid spoilers, I'll just say that in a general sense, you can build characters' relationships up in the game,
Yeah.
and I was the main character, your character, and then also another hero character in the game are supposedly the ones that are carrying through all these missions. But I always deliberately leave my main character and the hero character at home, and then you rely on like the youngest characters, like little children, to defend the world and stuff like that, because I think it's funny to, not do what the programmers want you to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I get to a point in the game where the prince, has this hero scene, and then this tomboy girl comes up and they're in love, and like it made no sense to me. It completely took me out of the game and the story, and I was just grumpy and angry a bit with it. So I almost like so Eric, you talked me off the ledge to give it a little bit more long, be more patient with it, which I will. But that type of stuff really bugs me is when you can break the narrative uh, function in the game because it wasn't really tested, or I just happen to be in the minority of wanting to play the game in a really strange, odd way, I guess. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, James, I am not getting. Our stream seems to be stalled.
really,
Oh no, there it goes. It's back. It's live again. I don't know. It really stalled hard for a while there.
oh yeah,
Yeah, but we're back alive. So I don't know how much anybody missed. So You might want to.
Do I need to recap what happened on my Fire Emblem
Yeah, you might want to
experience?
recap real quick, just to be safe, because I don't
Let's see.
know.
Like, how can
This
I
is
do it even
important. This is
faster?
critical. This is life changing stuff, and I don't want anybody to miss it. But yeah, we lost a good 2 minutes. It looks like.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. As I take another swig of my Krabby's raspberry alcoholic ginger beer, I will just say,
If
I,
Krabby's wants to support our internet connections, that would be great. James, oh
yeah,
my
it
God,
could
we
be
have 3 concurrent viewers right now.
really all because of ginger beer.
Well, yeah, I think that was really what did it. Was the ginger beer.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
welcome all 3 of our concurrent viewers.
if you have a sweet tooth, this is good, I guess. But if
Yeah.
you don't like raspberries and ginger, then follow Eric's lead.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
But as I was saying before, so Eric, we're talking about your Switch, how it's in the shop, and I have a Switch, and and uh,
You don't use it.
and being a jerk, like it's kind of funny because I have one, and Eric can't. Eric's on the other side of the country, and he can't play it. You know, I'd gladly lend it to you right now, Eric, if you were in LA, because I'm not playing mine. It's just sitting collecting dust in a paper bag right now. But I'm
It's
playing.
not. You don't even have like
Yeah.
a genuine case. It's just a paper bag. Like
Well,
on
actually,
your way home from somewhere, you stop by 7-Eleven, bought a bottle of malt liquor,
yeah.
and then like took the liquor out and then dumped the Switch in the paper bag that it comes in.
It pretty much, yeah. I will say, I mean, your description is much more fun than what it really is. It's really sitting in a Spectrum internet bag,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of more boring. It's in a blue bag and stuff, but it's still in a bag, hanging out. But I'm playing my Switch. I'm playing my 3DS, and I'm playing Fire Emblem Awakenings, which is a considered a great game. A lot of people like it, but I
Including
play
me. Yeah.
yeah, but the way I play it, I've been playing it kind of like a jerk and not following the rules that the designers wanted a player to do. And I got to a point in the game. I'm trying to avoid it. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. I got to a point in the game where the hero character and your character that you create at the beginning of the game are at a story point, and for some reason, this random female character comes out, and the hero character and her are in love, and apparently you're supposed to guide these characters to nurture a relationship so they can kind of be happy and during the mid part of the story. And for me, it took me out of the game. I was like, what? I don't even play these characters. Why are they following like why are they falling in love and everything like that? And apparently, Eric, because you played the game and I've kind of been using you as consultant on it, is I've been playing it wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you totally. It's your fault. It's absolutely your fault.
I broke the narrative story in the game. So
The game designers thought that forcing you to use this character in every battle without the ability to remove him from a battle would convince you to utilize that character Chrom. I don't know why it's Chrom is like the protagonist of the game.
yes,
And
yeah. Prince Chrom, because he's so he's a prince.
right,
He's
like
so
they literally, if they got a hammer and like etched the word Chrom in it and then hit you over the head with it, they could not be any more explicit that you were supposed to use this character.
Nope. I didn't want that. Instead, about two missions in, you end up with this 10-year-old little brat character.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
went, he's the hero of my game. He's a 10-year-old brat. And so now this 10-year-old brat is the most powerful character in my game. No story. Nothing's going on with him.
No,
No, I'm stuck with this.
no. If
prince.
Riken dies,
Oh
the
my
game,
God.
the world doesn't stop turning.
Oh, it does stop because I just reset it. If this 10-year-old kid dies, I just reset the game and start over until he beats everybody. And I literally will take this 10-year-old kid and go all over the map beating up everybody.
That's so
Because
funny. I
I
love
think
it.
it's just so funny. Like, all these adult zombies and stuff getting their butts kicked by this little 10-year-old brat. It's awesome. That's why.
I find it very humorous because what you're doing is absolutely valid as a
Thank
gameplay
you.
experience, and it's a problem. I mean, we could do an entire podcast on just the challenges of trying to create authored narrative content in the face of an entertainment medium where the best media narratives are often emergent, right? And you've created a narrative for yourself. Riken is the hero of Fire Emblem Awakening, right? But that
Mhm.
flies in complete contrast to what the intended narrative that was, as written by the authors of Fire Emblem Awakening. And
Yeah.
as a result, a gameplay mechanic that necessarily functions, or, works flawlessly based on the assumption that you are using Chrom as your primary character, breaks apart when you start telling your own story. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
What you're talking about an absolutely fascinating example of the sometimes incongruous nature of telling authored stories within the context of a video game.
Yeah, and that game was made in what 2007. So you would think that they would have
God, no, it was not that. It was definitely not 2007.
really.
And
Okay.
3DS wasn't out in 2007.
Oh, that's
Um,
right. No, you're right.
it
You're right.
was, I think, 2013.
Yeah, so even more recent. You
Yeah.
would think by now. So I was trying to give them a little bit of an out, but not really. That
No,
was
but I come in. I'm still bitter that my Switch is broken, and I will
yeah.
give them nothing.
So yeah, but I thought by now they would have figured out the narrative trees to kind of make more sense as to why Chrom, the hero of the game, that I completely disagree with, for me,
Clearly,
falls in love with this particular character and not another female character, which they kind of lead you to think is his love interest. And for me, I didn't use any of those characters, so I was thinking it was going to default to this other love interest. But anyways, it doesn't matter to me at this point. Now I just click through the story because I don't care. All I care about is keeping that 10-year-old kid alive
that's
and
right.
beating up everybody else. Now I'm even more angry.
That's
So now
right.
I'll take him and have him beat up like the boss characters and stuff.
Yep.
This little 10-year-old little diminutive little kid and throwing fireballs at this giant armored beast and stuff. And I just laugh and scoff. And I'll send you text messages once in a while with these images of my character's name.
Oh my god, I love it.
I don't take it seriously.
No, and it's interesting because like it takes itself within the grander scope of the main narrative. It takes itself pretty seriously. I think one of the reasons why I like Fire Emblem, and it's the same reason why I like Monster Hunter, although Monster Hunter does it way better, is there is seriousness, but there's also a lot of silliness woven throughout.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this case, yeah, the game it failed. It failed in its mission as a video game, right? It in an effort to legitimize the non-interactive narrative, they undermined to a non-trivial degree the critical aspect of the game, which is the interactive component, right?
Yeah. Um, but at the end of the day, I'm still playing it, so it is successful. And being a pure game, I actually like the tactical
I
aspect
agree.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a really well polished game. So with me complaining about the narrative, it's kind of minor. I wasn't playing for the narrative anyway, so it's okay. I can overlook that. But I mean, I don't know. Like as far as historically speaking, is Fire Emblem one of the earliest tactical type games that came out in the '90s and stuff? Like, because I mean, you see other games like Final Fantasy Tactics and all these other games with
Yeah.
the word tactics in it. And I can't help but wonder if Fire Emblem kind of helped.
If my memory is right, the first game came out I think in 1990
Yeah,
or
or '89, something like that. It was, yeah,
1989. It was
yeah.
very late 80s, very early 90s. Emblem Shadow Dragon release. No, I don't want the modern one. Come on, Wikipedia, work for me here. Oh no, I guess because I'm using the Shadow Dragon subtitle, it's grabbing the DS remake that was released in the United States, which by the way is excellent. If you can find a copy, it's phenomenal. And I actually because they're releasing the original. They've actually gone back and localized it, and that's coming out in December. Um, and it's the original NES game though, and it doesn't have all the nice updated sprites and everything that the DS version has.
Mhm.
So it's only cost like $5. So I'll probably get it just to get a taste of it. But yeah, the Shadow Dragon was really good.
So yeah, so what was the year? Um, did it?
The original came out in 1990. I was right.
Okay.
Booyah! I'm a master at Nintendo trivia, even
Yeah, so
while
that's
my
pretty.
Switch is in New York
Yeah,
somewhere.
so is that considered like one of the first tactic games then, or
It is the first, to my knowledge.
okay?
Yeah, to my knowledge.
Yeah, so it's burned quite a bit. So for that reason alone, I like playing it because of knowing that historically speaking, it helps kind of spawn a whole genre of within the turn-based RPG element, the tactics-based part of it too, which is I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, by all means, I'm still going to continue playing it, but yeah, it's gonna be a while for. I'm gonna try to be more patient with it going forward as far as narration is concerned because I've already in my mind broke it a little bit. So
that's a shame because I did enjoy um, the storyline in Fire
mhm.
Emblem Awakening. I thought it was, I'm very rarely invested in video game stories.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Quest VIII, absolutely invested in. Dragon Quest V, crazy invested in.
Hmm.
Um, Fire Emblem Awakening is another one. Bioshock. But I think I can count on one hand the number of stories where I was like, I want to know what happens next, right?
Hmm.
So the follow up to Awakening Fire Emblem Fates was not nearly as compelling in my personal opinion. But
Yeah. So maybe by next week I'll have even more weird stories to talk about as far as breaking Fire Emblem. Maybe I'll move on. I'm about I don't know 20 hours in or so,
all right,
15.
yeah. I'd be farther into Three Houses and I could share stories there, except that, my Switch is
Yeah.
in New York and
Yeah.
it will not be back. I cannot possibly imagine it being back by Monday because even if they fix it tomorrow, like even if they get it, fix it, and put it back in the mail tomorrow, it will not be back here until at the earliest next Tuesday. So the saga will continue on through our next live stream. So there will not be any, unfortunately for our viewers, there will not be any updates next week, but maybe the week after. But we're at over 30 minutes now. We've really taken up people's times here.
Cool.
So
Well,
we're in a pretty good stopping point, I'd say.
all right. On to next week, I guess.
Yeah, and you'll finish up Molly next week. Before we go, I like how you manage the two tone nature of her hair. It's a really, what a great way to give a little depth to her hair while not, while maintaining and I think this illustrates exactly the concept we were talking about at the top of the episode, um, which I think is a perfect way to go out.
Yeah, and again, this will be. I mean, I'm just kind of throwing down lines right now, so I'll flesh it out even more next week and
Yeah.
get conclusion to stuff. But yeah, it's coming along. But yeah, it
Ah,
kind of
what happened to Wanda's neck?
it's just hidden. It's just a layer. There it is. Yeah, it's there. Don't worry, she's fine.
Okay.
So
But yeah, so if you want to learn more about Calamity Jane, you can find us at calamityjane.rocks. It'll take you to our Patreon site. Please become a patron. We charge on an episode basis, so it's not like you're going to get charged monthly. And then you can also find us on Facebook, which presumably you've linked to the YouTube video from here, or YouTube, which is where we stream it in the first place. All at Calamity Jane Adventure Hour. We're on the interwebs, usually under that same handle. Until next week, though, have a safe week, and everybody stay happy. And if you have Mario Kart Live, just plug it into a charger separately. Don't plug it into your dock. Just for me, just to be safe, right? Just don't. Yeah, yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
stay safe, everybody. Remember, this is last week for voting, so if you have vote early, go out there, vote, stay safe, all that stuff too.
All right, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.